Hello and welcome to Watchwise. Today we have a very special piece to show you. It was recently announced by Godzilla and Seiko, and before then I wasn't too sure when I first heard of this watch how it was going to come across and whether it was going to be popular or not, or how it was even going to be executed. I went to a Red Bar event last week, and as I said, as it's been announced, everyone was asking about it. It seems like it's going to be very popular, and having seen the watch myself, it is a beauty. I'll also be going to the Grand Seiko Hodinkee event tomorrow night, which I guess will be in the past when you see this video. But I'm sure it will be a big hit there as well because it will be on show. Grand Seiko have typically been incorporating influence more and more from Japan and specifically nature in Japan into their watches. So as you know, kind of Mounty-Wate dials, the Four Seasons. I mean, even the way that the advertising is done now is based upon nature of time and the way that replicates with Japanese culture. This particular watch is also influenced by Japanese culture, but in a different type of culture, I guess. The influence of this watch comes from the king of monsters, the Godzilla. So the reason why Godzilla has been chosen for this particular watch is because in the 1954 original film, Godzilla went on a rampage through Ginza in Japan and ended up stomping and destroying the Ginza Clock Tower, which is a Seiko-owned building and very iconic with a lot of history. So with that being in 1954, coming into 2019, that makes it the 65th year anniversary for the Godzilla. And with it being the 20th year anniversary for Spring Drive, what better than a collaboration of a beautiful Spring Drive Godzilla themed watch? So you're probably wondering how on earth this watch ties in to Godzilla and what makes it a Godzilla watch. There are actually many reasons and many ways that the watch has been influenced by Godzilla. So the case itself uses the same case shape as the lion claw inspired case shape of the SBGA 403. If you're interested in that watch, we have done a review of that also. There will be a link somewhere probably below. So this comes in at 44.5mm, so it is sounding like it's on the large side and it is a sports model, but because of the way that the lugs sit and the low center of gravity, it actually sits really tightly on the wrist, as you'll see from the wrist shots. Doesn't look oversized at all. If we're looking at the main kind of highlight of this, obviously you've got that bright red, well, red burgundy dial, and it has kind of like a sunray effect. The reason why it's red and has that sunray effect on there is because it's to replicate the kind of, I don't know how you call it, but the kind of fire ray beam that Godzilla shoots from his mouth. This dial is inspired by that. That kind of texture almost that's on the dial makes it very deep, and it plays with the light very nicely and looks different under different lights. Truth be told, when you're looking at this dial though, no matter what words I try to use to describe it or what imagery or videos you see, it will never do it justice until you see it in person, in the metal. So make sure if you do get a chance to come see it, because the way it plays with the light and the depth to it is something that you have to see if you can. Moving round from the dial, well actually before I do, just to note, the spring drive movement is there, so the second hand does glide across the dial. This one is a sample piece, so we can't show you on this particular watch, but we do have many other spring drive videos where you can see that second hand gliding. Moving away from the case then and round onto the strap. Another cool little feature that ties in with Godzilla is the strap. It uses a shark skin dark red strap, and that is influenced by the skin of Godzilla. When you turn the watch over, you have a very special design staring at you in the face, and that is Godzilla himself on the sapphire crystal open case back. On there he is destroying Waco, as we mentioned he did in the original film earlier. it's it's a very cool design, and I'm kind of glad that it's on the case back because it's kind of a little kind of hidden gem that you've got there. The designer who actually designed this particular motif, here's a message that he left as to bear in mind this man was the co-director for special effects on a later Godzilla film. And he designed it and said, just as the lion is the king of beasts, Godzilla, the king of monsters, would be appropriate for the case back of this Grand Seiko watch. I wanted to create a completely new Godzilla and gave my best to design this image of what can be called Grand Godzilla. So that message was from Shinji Higuchi. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So to conclude on this watch, there are many other elements to the watch. I've tried to focus mainly on the Godzilla aspect, but even as I mentioned, it is Spring Drive. It is also a 20th year anniversary for that, and it is therefore more accurate than even the normal Spring Drive. It is accurate to 10 seconds a month, so incredible accuracy with their kind of king of watch movements, a Spring Drive. The watch is also limited to 650 pieces, and as I said, with the dial and the whole design and that sapphire bezel, if you can get a chance to have a look at one of those 650, get yourself down to your local AD, I guess, and check it out if you can. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you liked our video, and we'll see you in the next one.